Hey, man.
Hey, what's up?
So we were my family was on vacation.
Oh, yeah.
Like recently, right? Like, so we went to the beach.
Can I was like looking through some of the pictures, and it's like, did you guys have to like face into the wind?
Yes.
It looks like...
Yeah. For the listeners out there, we took family pictures on the beach.
I mean, they're great pictures.
They turned out great. I was really pleased with them, but at the same time, so like, we actually like between my family, my parents, my uncle's family, and my grandmother, we all like went in together to hire on a photographer to come out and take pictures because my parents, like a couple weeks before, did pictures with my sister's family.
Okay.
So the photographer's actually going to try to take my sister's family and like CG, like do all their stuff and put them in with the rest of us, right?
I mean, it's
awesome.
It's not really that hard.
No, it's a cool thing that we can do these days, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, sounds great. So we did the pictures, but yes, like as you can tell by my hair in some of those, because for the listeners out there, if you saw like earlier pictures of us, you saw me with like way shorter hair. Uh-huh. My hair is now like longer than it's ever been.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is the longest I've ever seen your hair.
And so as we were on the beach, the wind's like kicking and my hair is just all over the place. So yes, we had to figure out how do we angle ourselves facing, where the wind is coming from.
To get good light but not be...
So it was a nightmare. Anyways, so while we were on vacation, one of the things that I always love to do while we're at the coast is do a low country boil. Mm-hmm. So for anybody that doesn't know what it is, a low country boil is like you literally it's a giant stock pot. You fill it up with water, bring it to a rolling boil. You add in a little bit of onion and a ton of Old Bay seasoning for flavoring. And then you can pretty much throw whatever you want to in there. But we did, ours was like potatoes, corn, shrimp. We didn't use andouille sausage. We used just like regular sausages you could get from the store and stuff. Potatoes. Anyways, like we throw all this stuff in there.
Glad I have not eaten at all today.
Yeah, I'm starving now too. It's way past lunchtime. We spent all that time cooking things on a grill and then didn't eat.
Yeah.
So anyways, we made this low country boil. As I'm in the process, because I cooked the whole thing. I was pumped about it.
Yeah.
Anytime shrimp's involved, I'm like, I'm in. So I prepared it, cooked it and stuff for the family. As I'm preparing it, I was shucking the corn.
Right.
And I got to thinking, we've done so much stinking genetic modification with everything on the planet, right?
Right.
Like, and even corn, we have done genetic modification to make it sweeter.
Right.
My big question that I came about in the midst of all this is, why have we not figured out a way to genetically modify corn so that it no longer has the floss involved in it? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like the silk that comes in the corn and those little strings that you have to sit there and pull them out all the time. It drives me insane.
It's one of those things where it's like, I don't even know what the purpose is.
I'm not sure that I do either. Like, having grown up on a farm, you'd think I'd have some inclination on it. I don't. What I know is this. Have you ever microwaved corn to cook it?
No.
Okay, so I'm going to clue you in on this one because it's amazing. To keep the sweetness and the flavor and everything about the corn, you can actually just keep it in the husk,
right,
and microwave it. Mm-hmm. Well, if you go to Cyberlings, which for everybody, if you're not from around here, Cyberlings is a farm that's like really close to Wadsworth, in between Wadsworth and Norton, Ohio. And they raise sweet corn, and every year when they pick it, they just throw all the ears on this giant wagon. You can go out and fill up a whole grocery bag for like $5 of corn. We'll do that and bring them back and just throw them straight in the microwave and microwave them in the husk and everything. And when you get done with that, if you cut the fat end off of the corn,
you can just
husk and everything,
squeeze it right out. I have seen that, but I've never done it.
And walks right out of the thing, and when it comes out, it's clean. There's none of the silk or anything on it. I just don't understand, like, why have we not been able to, like, genetically modify corn to the point that we don't have to have those anymore? Maybe it's a part of the growing process, like, that has to.
Well, because I know that's how you know corn is fully grown, is when it tassels.
Yeah.
And that's the things that stick out.
It's yellow. It turns brownish on the outside. And stuff like that.
And it's one of those things where, everybody is worried about GMOs and things like that. Right. But I think the flip side that people don't realize is how off everything would taste if you don't eat some form of genetically modified.
Yeah.
What is it? Lemons are a naturally occurring fruit.
Oh, really?
It's a cross between an orange and something else. So, like, you know, the phrase, like, when life gets you lemons, no, we gave ourselves lemons. Like,
yeah. We did it to ourselves,
yeah, we
guys.
did it to ourselves.
You're not trying to survive something life's throwing at you. You're trying to survive us as human beings.
And there are some cross-species fertilization in nature, but a lot of these fruits and vegetables and things like that aren't how they used to be.
No.
And that's
well,
why
you can tell the flavor difference in a lot of things we eat nowadays. Like, from what we ate growing up as kids, certain things they don't taste as good, and they don't taste as, like, rich in flavor as they used to.
And it's one of those things where, you know, have you heard where banana flavoring, why it tastes so much different than actual bananas, is because the banana flavoring is actually closer to the actual flavor of what a banana is supposed to taste like, as opposed to what a organically grown. Yeah.
I hate both, so legitimately, I don't like banana flavor stuff, and I don't like bananas.
That's why, you know, any banana flavoring and things like that, it tastes completely different than an actual
It's the same thing with like grapes.
Yeah.
Grape flavoring does not taste like what grapes actually taste like.
Yeah.
So, which I do like grape flavored stuff, but that was just something I was kind of like, as I was preparing that low country boil, I was kind of thinking, there's got to be a way that we can get around this. Maybe there's not, and that's the reason why we haven't done it yet as human beings. But,
probably not. So I have a would you rather question for you.
Ooh, I love
it's pretty simple, but it's kind of funny when you actually think about it, because some people are better at this than others.
Okay.
Would you rather announce your every thought out loud, or never speak again?
Oh, never speak again. No, gosh.
It's like one of those things like, I said the quiet part out loud.
Yeah. Did I let my inside thoughts on the outside again? Yeah, no. I couldn't do it, man, because, like, my joke that I say a lot of times is I'm allergic to stupid people.
Oh, yeah.
And the way to think about other people on the inside, a lot of times, I wouldn't want to hurt people's feelings.
Right.
Because I have moments where, like, if you're saying something that I find to be dumb, I could be sitting there looking you in the eyes and be kind on the outside, but on the inside I'm going, how can you be this stupid?
Right.
You know, well, I wouldn't want to hurt people's feelings like that.
It's funny because, you know, I have that same thing, like driving.
Oh my gosh.
Roundabouts, I know we've talked about this. People, like, my kids laugh every time that they're in the car with me and, like, somebody's being stupid in a roundabout. Yeah. Mostly the roundabout here in Wadsworth that's where, like, on 57. Yep. You know, I started singing, "It's a yield, not a stop, learn to drive."
There you go. I like it. The kids clap them.
They do. And, that's like, great. They're like, "Dad, what's that? What song you made up?" And I was like, it's like that. It's like, it's a yield sign, not a stop sign. I know they're the same color, and I know that that's, you know, an association thing. But it's a yield. You are yielding your right of way.
Josh, yield means I have to stop.
And I mean, don't get me wrong. I think roundabouts and traffic circles are much more efficient than traffic lights, things like that.
They are, as long as everybody knows how to obey them.
Exactly. Yeah. But it's one of those things, like, I know in my driving school, like, we never really went over roundabouts because...
That's because they weren't prevalent.
They weren't a thing. Yeah. And, like, moving to Michigan, they have things that they refer to as Michigan lefts.
Which, I'm sorry.
I was going to say...
I hate them.
Really? Even the ones, like, on 21 now?
They're so stupid.
But they're so much more efficient. For traffic flow, they are much more efficient. Because
the one on 21, I understand. To me, that makes sense there. Mm-hmm. But in Michigan, where there's just, like, normal, large intersections... Right. I'm sorry, it's not more efficient. There's no way.
The reason why I think they work so well is because you don't have that left going across traffic, and it helps stupid people.
But they're going down and turning, like, pulling out into traffic though. I just like I don't know.
But the thing is, with a lot of those, there are stoplights.
Yeah.
So that's. You know, it helps.
But that's the same thing. That's what I'm saying.
But it breaks up the flow of traffic. It's not. It creates a better flow of traffic.
I don't know.
Agree to disagree.
We'll agree to disagree. Because I just see it as like you're putting a stop sign or stop light in a location that's just a little bit further than what you already had stoplights.
Right.
All you have to do is add a green arrow that points to the left.
Right.
And it's problem solved. Like just do it like everybody else does. Because I would have to see some, like, really, really, really strong statistical evidence to show that they've cut down on the number of like accidents or something like that in order for me to be like justified in liking a Michigan left. Like, and again, like on 21 where there's no stoplight, I think it's great.
And I think that's what it's meant to supersede. Is it is cheaper. It's a cost effective thing too. It is cheaper to put in one of those than it is a stoplight. And that's why they did roundabouts and stuff like that. Because you have to think a lot of these places, like especially on 21,
sure,
you don't have the electricity.
No, I'm saying on 21 it makes sense to me.
But I'm saying like,
I'm just saying there's a bunch of places in Michigan that I've been to.
Oh yeah.
That I'm like, I don't understand why I have to drive a quarter mile out of my way to make a left-hand turn, to not actually make a left-hand turn, to make a U-turn
right,
and then turn right.
Yeah.
This, like I said, 21, I get it. 90% of the ones that I've taken in Michigan, I'm sorry, it's just dumb.
Yeah. I guess it's one of those things where it's what you grow up with.
Yeah.
But
sure.
And I was there for 5 years essentially, so
yeah, I
got used to it. So.
Now I will agree. Traffic circles and roundabouts, they're great as long as everybody's obeying the rules. And
yeah,
stuff
exactly.
Like that. But that's the problem, is everybody doesn't obey the rules.
Right. People be people.
People be people.
All right.
All right. Let's kick this thing off.
Good morning, Josh.
Good morning, Josh.
Recognize me? No? Well, I'm Josh. I got suspended from school because of Josh.
You're going to be there with me in every way imaginable, Josh.
Josh is truly in a trance, yes.
I went to high school with Josh, and I can tell you right now, he's a terrific kisser.
Hi, I'm Josh.
Josh, these are people's jobs we're talking about, Josh.
You don't make us
Hi.
Josh walking in the door wasn't even close.
Josh, you are a muffin-snuggling pirate puncher.
Josh is a good guy. We can talk to him.
Please welcome Joshua. Josh.
All right, man. I told you I've got a story for you today.
You got a story for me.
This is kind of in the same vein as some of the stories that I've been on recently of the more
morbid
side of things, I guess. But this one's not like so completely morbid, I guess. Because this is more about a disappearance than it is just about a death. Have you ever heard of the disappearance of the Sodder Children?
Maybe.
So this is a story that takes place in Fayetteville, West Virginia.
Okay.
It happened in 1945.
Okay. So a couple years ago.
Yeah, just a few years ago. So George and Jenny, Sodder, and their 10 children lived. Yeah, yes, sir.
Well,
they were
okay.
busy.
Different time,
right?
They were probably Catholic.
Different time, yeah. 1945. So we can kind of imagine post-war, a lot of families getting.
Did they have? I was gonna say, did they have the 10 children after 1945? Or
no. They had 10 children.
Okay.
In 1945.
Okay.
So the 10 children and their parents, George and Jenny, are all living at home in Fayetteville, West Virginia, which was a small coal town, right?
I was about to say he was probably a coal miner.
He wasn't a coal miner.
Oh.
George was actually a really successful businessman, and his business primarily is centered around the transportation of coal.
Oh, okay.
So he had a trucking business.
Gotcha.
They moved coal from place to place. And all
coal adjacent, I kind of assumed.
He was also a very outspoken man.
Outspoken how?
So he was a big critic, an outspoken critic of Benito Mussolini, who at that point in time was a big deal with the Italians, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of Italian Americans who were immigrants who had come here and stuff like that didn't really like the fact that George had so much to say about the politics of things that were going on
somebody
in
who
Italy.
couldn't win a war in Ethiopia.
Listen, man, I don't disagree, right? I'm kind of like, if you guys liked Mussolini and liked the things in Italy so much, why the heck are you in West Virginia?
As far away from Italy.
Just go back to Italy, right?
So wait, were they Italian immigrants?
Yeah. So they came over to work in the coal mines and stuff like that. So
that makes more sense.
Yeah. Nothing out of their lives, though, for George and Jenny was out of the usual, okay? Everything's pretty, on the up and up. Now, the night of Christmas Eve, 1945, the family gathers together and does their traditional celebrating with all their kids, right? So 10 kids, mom, dad, all gathered together in the living room. They hang out, they have fun, they open some gifts, They do all the stuff that they typically would do on Christmas Eve. When the time came and it got pretty late, 5 of the kids went to bed, as did mom and dad. So they take the youngest of the 10, put them in bed, and then mom and dad get in bed themselves. And they tell the older kids, because the older kids were excited to stay up and get to Christmas morning and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So they stayed up in the living room together. So this is Maurice, who is 14 years old, Martha, who's 12, Louis, who's 9, Jenny, named after her mother, who is 8, and Betty, who is 5 years old, all stay up together. So around 1 a.m., Jenny was awakened by the sound of something hitting the roof. A loud thump, followed by a rolling noise. So a lot of speculations about what this could be. We'll talk about that in a minute. Then she began to smell smoke. So we can kind of imagine, I think, that the other kids have now probably fallen asleep or something like that. Jenny is the only one who seems to hear this and begins to smell smoke stuff. So the house is now on fire.
That escalated quickly.
Yeah. George, Jenny, the parents, and 4 of the children escaped from the house.
So 6 out of 12.
You're doing a lot of math.
You said 4 of the kids
4
plus
kids,
the parents.
So 6 out of 12.
12
people total. The problem is that they got up, got the 4 kids out. Another one of the kids made it out of the house on their own.
Okay, so we're up to 7.
7 out of 12. The 5 kids that stayed up in the living room to await Christmas morning, were never seen again. Yeah. The house burned. I mean, it's
so it totally burned to the ground.
It's a coal mine area of West Virginia, so it's not like the fire department, especially in 1945, was showing up lickety-split.
Yeah, exactly.
It didn't have means to put out the fire and stuff like that. So the house burns. When they go in to check over the house and stuff like that, they don't find any remains of the 5 children that had stayed up in the living room that night. No bones, no teeth, no ashes that they could find they said were human remains. The forensic experts later said this was extremely unlikely that there were any human beings in the wreckage left from the house. As the fire was going on, the parents, so there's parents and 5 kids that have made it out of the house. No one ever saw the other children during the course of the fire. They didn't hear them, didn't see the kids running out of the house. There was no signs whatsoever of them. If they had died in the blaze, you would think that, they would have heard them screaming, would have heard something going on. The kids just seemingly vanished. They found out in the midst of their searching and stuff that the phone line that went into the house at that point in time had been cut. So things get a little bit more and more hairy as we kind of go through this, because someone cut the phone line, and the family later found their ladder that they owned. That was the family's ladder, which was usually stored on the side of the house.
Okay.
It was missing, and it was discovered in a nearby ditch down the road from where the house was.
It just, it's every layer is getting a little bit more bizarre.
Weirder and weirder, right?
Yeah.
To add on to all the strange things, a few months earlier, before this fire, before these strange events on Christmas Eve, a man came to visit George at his house. And he told George that because of his anti-Mussolini remarks that he was making and stuff like that, he told him that his house was going to burn and that his children would be destroyed, was the way that he worded it.
Okay, Job.
Yeah. Very prophetic, right? Now, this is 1945. Children disappear.
Right.
There's no sign. Later on, there was a woman that claims to have seen the children alive right after the fire. She said they were peering out of a car window while the fire was still burning. So she saw the car apparently driving off, the kids looking out of the car windows as they were still dealing with the fire and stuff like that at the house. Other witnesses also claimed later on to have seen the kids. One of them said that they saw the kids at a hotel in Charleston, West Virginia, which I didn't look up how far away Fayetteville is from Charleston.
If I'm remembering my driving, because I've driven through Charleston and Fayetteville, isn't it basically one side of the turnpike to the other side of the turnpike?
Charleston is just northwest of Fayetteville on Route 60.
Yeah.
So Route 60 connects the two of them. They're
Well, of course
probably
the turnpike
probably
wasn't a
somewhere in
thing
like
then.
the 15-mile radius or so.
Oh, really?
From
I
each
thought they were
other.
further apart for some reason.
Nope, not that far.
Huh.
About 15 miles. So Fayetteville is right beside Lansing, West Virginia. And you just go northwest up to Charleston. Anyways, people say that they saw the kids at a hotel in Charleston, and they believe that they were being taken away by some unknown adults. Things get really weird 23 years later.
That's a decent jump in time. So that's what you said, 45. So
1945,
60...
1968. In 1968, Jenny received a photo in the mail of a man in his 20s. On the back were some cryptic numbers and the name Louis Sodder. And she was convinced by looking at this picture that that was her missing son, Louis, who was one of the 5 that disappeared the night of the fire.
So was it like a postcard, or was it like in the mail? Like obviously no return address?
Just a photo.
Just a photo. So
Yep.
not even so it didn't even come in the mail.
So it says it came in the mail.
Oh, okay.
I'm assuming it was probably in an envelope.
Okay.
But it was just the photo of Louis, supposedly. So it said on the back of the photo, it just had Louis Sodder, and then it had some numbers written. But we don't know what the numbers were or what they meant.
That's crazy.
So she's convinced that this is her son, right? So George and Jenny spent the rest of their lives investigating this case, right? As you would, because it's 5 of your 10 children have gone missing. As a matter of fact, where the house stood, instead of rebuilding a home there, they turned it into a memorial site for these 5 kids. And they even went out and erected a large billboard on the side of the highway offering a reward for any information that anybody could give them concerning where their children were. And the billboard stood there for decades.
That's crazy.
Like-
So even after they received this photograph.
Yeah. So I believe that probably the receiving of the photograph like just made at least the mom, Jenny,
Kind of
just double down
re-sparked
on
that.
Yeah, like I'm gonna figure out what happened to my kids.
Like that. That's just.
So the crazy thing about this, right, is like, now many years later, despite multiple investigations, many tips over time, this mystery still remains unsolved.
Jeez.
Were the children kidnapped? Did someone set the fire to cover it up, their kidnapping? Did the children start the fire to try to escape for some reason and run off on their own?
Well, I mean,
Did they really perish in the flames and maybe there's some reason why they couldn't find
yeah.
bones
I mean,
or
that's.
dental things?
I mean, because I forget the temperature, like to actually.
Oh, it's hot.
It is
hot.
very hot to destroy.
Your average
bone.
house fire does not get to like that crazy of a level.
Right. I mean, yeah, you're talking like crematorium
Yeah.
level of heat. So I mean, theoretically there would be some evidence of them if they did get trapped in the house in the fire.
Yep.
That's
You would think so.
that is.
But they say
absolutely
like
crazy.
so the case is officially like closed.
So it's not even a cold case anymore.
It's not a cold case. No one's like trying to find any answers on it. So it's
weird.
officially been closed, but so far we still have no idea what happened to the 5 Sodder kids that
That's
disappeared
crazy.
in the fire. I just thought it was a wild story. Like
That is a wild story.
That was another one that as I was talking back and forth with ChatGPT that it brought up and was like, well, here's an interesting one to think about. And so I did some research on it and was like, that is pretty fascinating. Because it's a whole different thing if it's like one kid goes missing, right? Maybe they ran off in the mountains of West Virginia and ended up starving to death or got eaten by a wild
Right.
creature or whatever and stuff. And, I can kind of understand that. But 5 kids ranging from 14 down to 5 years old.
And like they weren't found because usually with stories like this, they're found within a certain radius of the house or where the event occurred.
Yeah.
You find them, even if they did like die of asphyxiation from the fire and the carbon monoxide poisoning and things like that. 'Cause,
Yeah.
I mean, that's still in a time where that's not even a real documented thing is like carbon monoxide poisoning.
Yeah.
Like people knew about it, I think, like in the 20s, because there's a story that I've heard through Prohibition, because there was a lot of corruption and things like that during Prohibition. But like that was one of the things was carbon monoxide poisoning was because it was kind of like another instance of people attributing death to things that didn't cause. Oh, this was
just
the alcohol.
They didn't know. Yeah.
Well, they did know, but they were alcohol poisonings, things like that during the Prohibition to perpetuate the propaganda of alcohol bad.
Just like a super recent
exactly.
thing in human history that we had.
But like one of the instances was carbon monoxide poisoning,
right.
and it took the coroner, which that was a joke in New York. It was usually somebody who was paid off by the police and things like that too.
Naturally.
Oh, this guy had 9 bullet holes in him. Oh, died of alcohol poisoning, kind of thing. But like they showed up and it was this person, their skin was pink.
Right.
But the person that they were with didn't die, but he thought that she had died as a result of illegal alcohol, so he was in the process of disposing the dead body. And it's like the same thing. Like but then he's like, well, technically she was already dead when he did this, so is he really guilty? Like, kind of thing. And it's the same thing where, you don't know, and if they're passed out in the field or whatever by the house or in the woods. Or
just an interesting set of circumstances and stuff. And so,
unfortunate set of circumstances.
Who knows what happened to the 5 Sodder children? And I was thinking about it. If it was 1945... So that means the 5-year-old was born in 1940. I mean, they'd be 80, 85
it's
now,
presumable.
But could still be alive.
Yeah.
There may be an answer out there in an old folks' home somewhere right now, just chilling. There's probably lost their minds.
Betty. No, that's old Betty just like, going off.
She's like, on Christmas Eve,
our house burned down.
1945. What was her name? Let's see.
Wasn't it
5-year-old little Betty?
Yeah, I thought it was Betty.
You got a good memory.
No, I just hold on to certain things that don't matter.
Right, no, 5-year-old little Betty is 85-year-old Betty now is sitting in her nursing home, and she's like, me and 4 of my siblings ran away on Christmas Eve, and they're like, sure you did, Betty. What's your last name? She's like, Sodder. Somebody looks it up.
So
interesting stuff. So, yep, that was the story of the disappearance of the 5 Sodder children.
Right. In more uplifting news, I thought it'd be really fun because we kind of delved into it in the last episode. Have you ever heard of the Conspiracy Theory Iceberg?
The Conspiracy Theory Iceberg?
Yes.
I don't know that I have.
We all know, like, icebergs
Maybe I have.
are bigger on the bottom, right?
Yeah. What you see on the surface above the water is usually just the tip of the iceberg.
People have attributed conspiracy theories as an iceberg. So you have your surface level, you have your a little bit more, and they just kind of devolve into some really bizarre things at the end.
Right.
So I thought we have 5 tiers of conspiracy theories. And I'm going to mention some of the theories, and I want to see where you think that they fall on this tier list.
Oh, okay. So are they just like tip of the iceberg?
Okay, so let me read you the tiers. Tier 1 is surface level, so mainstream theories.
Yeah.
These are widely known. These are widely known, often discussed in pulp culture. I'll throw one out there.
Sure.
Bigfoot. That's a surface level conspiracy theory. All right, so
pretty much everybody knows about it.
Right.
Half the people kind of buy into it, but in a joking way.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, tier 2 is just below the surface, popular but debated. Still fairly known, but a little bit more controversial or less widely accepted.
Okay, Mothman.
There's some really good ones on here that I don't want to. So a little bit deeper than Bigfoot.
Okay. Yeah.
I just gave you a Bigfoot is like the baseline.
Right.
So you can go below, see how far below Bigfoot we can get.
Okay.
Tier 3, deep theories.
Ooh. Okay.
Fringed or suppressed conspiracy theories.
Sure.
We are going to be on a list by the time these 2 episodes.
Sweet.
So these are lesser known and typically.
This is like Illuminati.
We're getting there.
Okay.
These are lesser known and typically exist in niche online communities.
Okay.
So that's tier 3.
Sure.
Tier 4, we have the abyssal layer, the esoteric or bizarre theories. So often blends conspiracy with mysticism, alternate history, or pseudoscience.
Okay.
Then finally,
The Freemasons.
we have Tier 5 is the Marianas Trench, or the unhinged or the hyper obscure.
Sure. The deepest you can go type of thing.
Almost entirely disconnected from reality, often unsettling or surreal, which there are things on here that I think about semi-regularly, and I'm concerned for myself.
Okay, cool.
So we'll start off with a kind of an interesting one. Let's go with, where on this list do you think Hollow Earth falls?
Hollow Earth.
Because I know we kind of joked about it in the last episode.
Yeah, I think the Hollow Earth, if I was going to throw it into a category, it would be like in the third category.
Okay.
I don't see Hollow Earth being like so deep that it's like it's not the type of thing where it's like concerning or like surreal in that sense. It's the type of thing that I think that like there's a group of people out there that are talking about the Hollow Earth stuff, but they're not
right.
It's not the norm, right?
Yes.
It's not as like mainstream as like Flat Earth,
right? It's a little bit. It's a deeper layer than Flat Earth.
Yeah, I would say the people that are talking.
No pun intended in that one.
Right? Yeah. The people that are talking about the Hollow Earth are a little bit more on the fringe than the Flat Earth.
Okay, so you're saying Tier 3.
That's where I think it would fall.
And that is exactly where it falls in this list. All right.
I listen to way too many podcasts to talk about this kind of crap. So
I know.
That's part of the problem.
All right. Let's go Tier 1. Area 51/UFOs is another one because I just gave you that one.
Easy Tier 1.
Here we go. Denver Airport is a secret Illuminati headquarters.
Yeah. I like when you throw the Illuminati like headquarters thing into it, that makes me want to put it into like a Tier 4.
Okay.
Because I think that people generally joke about the Illuminati. And so I would say the Illuminati in and of themselves is maybe like a Tier 2 kind of thing. I think the Denver Airport thing, like everybody kind of knows about the Denver Airport deal.
And I've started to dive down into the Denver Airport thing, and it is bizarre. They lean into it though. That's the weird. Yeah. That's the most unsettling part about the Denver Airport theory. Is
do you know about the paintings?
Oh yeah,
like they put stuff, they paint stuff on the inside of the Denver Airport,
right?
That plays into all of this.
Oh yeah,
I'm like,
their construction billboards.
Yep.
And that's the most disconcerting part about this whole thing is they're playing into it. So it's
right, because what's the best way to redirect people is to play right into it and put it right on your face. Yeah. So I would say when you combine the two of them, that it's an Illuminati hideout type of thing, that makes me put it on like the level 4 because I think that's deeper than the average person is thinking about.
Okay.
That type of stuff.
So you're actually a little off.
Is it a 5?
No. It actually has it in a Tier 2.
Oh, really?
Because I think it's so mainstream now. Because
it has come to light a lot more recently.
Yes,
like
which
a lot
is
of podcasts talking about at least the Denver Airport thing.
I mean, I probably heard about it like 2-ish years ago.
Yeah.
Through Red Web. They did a whole thing on it, but
because the guys in Ninjas talked about it not too long ago too.
Yeah. So I think
Josh Hooper, we know you're listening. We want to get you on the podcast.
Still fairly well known, and I think that's where this one comes in.
Just to be clear, Andy can come too.
So it is on
Andrew
Tier 2.
and Lily. Sorry, we'll take everybody if y'all want to come,
please.
Anyways, but yeah, that's Tier 2. That's fascinating to me because that would seem like it would go a lot deeper than the average person out there. But anyways, that's cool.
The next one is, do you know what CERN is? The particle collider.
Yeah.
That CERN opened up a portal when it was fired in 2012.
Okay.
And I know Ninjas has talked about this one.
Yeah, a lot of people have talked about that one. So, but at the same time, because the thing that I'm trying to I guess what I'm trying to judge a lot of these on is the depth of number of people that actually believe and maybe kind of will talk about this.
Right.
I would say that one's got to be a 3 or a 4 because CERN is was so big in the news and stuff when it was, especially when they were doing all those testings in 2012 and everything, that I would think that if there was something substantial from their reports and stuff about what went on in there, that it would be much more generally accepted.
Yeah.
Because what it is.
The theory behind this is that it opened a portal and it caused a diversion in time.
A branch in
a
the
branch
timeline.
in the timeline, and we are
Sick.
Living on that timeline. That's why.
Which begs the question: are we in the better timeline or the worst timeline now?
Exactly. So it is actually on a tier 4. So you were right. Like
okay, yeah, that makes sense.
And I kind of agreed to the 3 to the 4.
Personally, like I would have personally just put it in a 3, but there's not a ton of people out there that know what CERN was about, the Large Hadron Collider, and all that kind of stuff. And on top of not knowing what it's about, like the idea that it opened up a portal
because like they were saying like it could potentially create a black hole and all that kind of fun stuff. All right, another one that we've actually talked about.
Okay,
the dead internet theory that most of the internet is bots and fake content. Where do you think that falls on this list?
Oh, I don't think that's got to go deep at all. Like, I mean, I think a 2.
Okay, you're going 2?
Yeah, I'd be level 2 on that one.
What would you do if I told you it was actually a tier 5?
Why would that be a tier 5 though? I don't see very many people out there now
because I think it falls.
Buying into that.
I think it falls into like the surreal category and the unsettling that like most of anything that you see online is.
I guess I was thinking like the tier 5 things. I would have to see it as almost more dark, unsettling.
So most of these tier 5s...
I think so many of us in today's culture, though, we're just embracing the fact that, like, like every time I go on the internet, I'm interacting with more bots than I am people.
And it's one of those things, like, I mean, AI, like all the AI videos and stuff like that. Like, it's crazy. So let's go with a couple more. This is a topic that I want to get into. Okay. And do you know anything about the missing 411?
The missing 411?
Yes.
I don't think I do, no.
So this is a theory about people going missing in national parks.
Okay.
And if you take a map,
there's a lot of good stories in that.
And that's why
I've actually got one that I've been saving.
I want to dig into this whole theory as a whole because Red Web did it, and it's one of those things where if you take a map of all the missing people, and you overlay the national parks and caves, it's almost identical. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. A lot of the missing people account for national parks, cave systems.
Right.
Like, it's
like the majority of people that have gone missing in state
areas
parks.
Where state parks are close or in proximity. Yeah. And a lot of them have caves and caverns that have not been explored.
Okay. So the missing 411 theory, you're asking where do I think that falls? That's got to be a 4. I mean, that's borderline surreal enough and kind of dark enough in the sense that...
See...
Because is the idea that, like, there's an intentional thing that's happening in the state parks that's causing people to disappear?
That, or people committing murder and taking them to these national parks where they know that people have gone missing. So this is actually falls into the dead middle tier, the third tier.
Third tier? I
think because there is some grounded in factual... But it's also one of those things where it's kind of starting. It's still a niche topic, but it's starting to gain a little bit more.
That's fair.
The Mandela effect. I know that's a popular one. We just talked about the divergent in timelines and things like that.
I think Mandela effect's got to be like pretty light. I would say a 1 or a 2.
Yeah, it's a 2.
Yeah.
What about the tier 1s are the easiest ones?
Yeah, the softball question.
What about QAnon?
Ooh, QAnon. I would think that QAnon would probably fall somewhere in like the 3 category. Because I would say that like QAnon is one of those that I think that there's enough evidence to say that they're a legitimate organization, entity, whatever you want to call it, that's out there. But at the same time, you know, the kind of mystical feel around them and stuff like that in that sense would keep them from being like totally mainstream.
I think because of recent times they do have them in a 2 because it is starting to become
a lot more videos and stuff coming out from them, and
we'll do 2 more.
Okay.
The simulation theory that basically we live in
the
Matrix theory, starting to get a little bit more off the rails.
I would say that's got to be a 4 or 5. I think 5 probably, because that's super surreal. Like, there's a lot of people that do buy into that, and then there's a lot of people that think that that's like the kookiest thing on the planet. So
that's actually at 3, and I think that along those theories, that's probably the highest that it is because it's more of the baseline theory.
Right.
Because there's a lot more deeper theories within that theory.
Sure.
What about quantum immortality?
Quantum immortality.
So that is a theory that you never truly die you just shift to another timeline.
Oh, wow. I would hope that's at least a 4.
It's a 5.
Yeah. Because that's some, like, deep down the rabbit trail
like
crap.
It's one of those things where, like, I'm like, I kind of want to, like, research and see what they're
Yeah, I'd like to know more about what they're talking about in that, because that's not a...
Like, forget reincarnation. This is just an entire shift in reality.
Going to a different timeline and stuff.
Yeah.
That's wild. Now, okay, I'm going to do a little bit of a rabbit trail here off of that one.
All right, let's do it. I love these.
I have this, like, crazy... So, I'm going to preface this by saying... I don't believe this is true based on what Scripture tells us. But when we come to this idea of, like, multiple timelines in human history, I've had this idea, theory, I don't know, reality of things. Okay. I don't know what you want to call it. You ever have those times where you're like, you drive home, but you don't drive home? Where, like, you drive home, but you don't remember driving home?
Oh, you're talking, like, gaps in time?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it was funny. I was talking to somebody about this the other day.
Okay.
When I was coming home from school one year.
Yep.
So there's 2 main ways to go home from Holland. You can go across 96, which takes you, like, through Lansing, up and down Portland to Ann Arbor. Yep. Or you can go down 131 and hit Kalamazoo and take Kalamazoo all the way across the state to 94.
Okay.
When we've driven to Holland and things, you've noticed that there's not a ton of tractor-trailer traffic. Most of them take 94 across the state. So I'm like, you know what? I want something different. I want to go down 94 and take 94 across the state. I remember getting onto 94 in Kalamazoo.
Okay.
I don't remember anything from Kalamazoo to Ann Arbor.
Yeah.
That is like a 2-hour gap.
Mm-hmm.
That I just kind of... It was one of those things where I was like... I'm in Ann Arbor? Like, I don't remember. And, you know, I just zoned out, but I don't remember that 2-hour period of time.
Right. My theory, and again, I shouldn't say theory, my wild imagination, like, thought about this.
Your esoteric brain.
Is that in those times when we have time gaps like that, are times that we should have died.
Really?
And that... In my hyper imaginative world, that would be a time where God created a split timeline where you continue to live on in one timeline, but you're dead in the other. So that would cause the branching of timelines, right? Is like whenever God has a definitive plan for your life that's laid out, and you're going to continue on in your timeline so that you become who God's laid it out for you to be in that sense, right? So. And in that instance, like, so again, this is all just crazy imagination stuff. So please, if you're out there and you're listening to this and you're going, oh, Josh believes in weird stuff that's not Christian, that's not the case. I don't actually believe this. It's just a rabbit trail that my mind is going down.
It's filling gaps in.
So the idea would be is that, like, that only happens for Christians.
Right.
That God has this reason why you have to be developed into a certain person and stuff, or to do certain things for the timeline in that sense. But maybe there's a timeline where you don't exist in that respect. So hear me out on this one.
Now you have me thinking, because it's like, okay, so that version of you is the timeline for that version of you is done, and then that's where this timeline of this version of you starts, and that's that gap period is how my brain is interpreting that. So
in my kind of like imaginative thing, it's just that, like, you were on that drive, and when you got on to 94, you said Kalamazoo.
Yeah.
So from Kalamazoo to wherever it was, as you said, like the 2-hour drive to Ann Arbor. At the beginning of that, wherever, like, the gap in your memory started, you would have been in a car accident. Something like, happened.
Got
in that
on the highway,
moment.
rolled the truck, whatever.
Who knows? Like, somebody hits you, you should have died in that moment, right? But from that moment forward, you are still, like, living in this timeline, but died in a different timeline, and it was all for the purpose of, like, you being here today and doing this, whatever. That there was, like, some reasoning behind it in that sense. Because, like, I've had, like, not just the driving moments where there's been, like, gaps in time and stuff like that, but then there's been, like, other times in my life where there's a period of time that I can't account for, But leading up to that period of time, there were moments where I look back and I go, I should have died right then. Mm-hmm. And then there's a gap in memory afterwards.
Right.
And I'm like,
yeah.
So anyways, like I say that to say like there's a lot of like really interesting trains of thought and stuff as to like what happens in our timelines and all that kind of stuff. And so I for me, that was one that when my mind just started going down that trail one day, because I think it was like after like one of the driving times where I was like, there's a bunch of times where I just don't remember driving home from work and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, what if, I started going down that path in my brain, and that's what it led me to. So like that's, again, I don't hold to these things.
Right.
So if you're out there, don't think that I'm crazy or anything.
See, that's those are just the rolling blackouts in the simulation.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. That's when they lost power and had to reset everything and stuff. Yeah.
All right, last one.
Okay,
and then we'll kind of wrap up.
Yeah,
because I'm pretty sure we're at
close
time.
to time.
All right, this is the theory about. I believe it's pronounced Tartaria.
Oh yeah,
the Great Reset. Basically, it's a hidden, lost super civilization that has been erased from time and history. Yeah. Where do you think that one falls? As our last one?
I would hope that that's probably like a 5.
They actually have it as a 4.
Because that's pretty deep.
Yeah. And I think I've heard of things like this, but I've never heard of like the specific thing. And it's one of those things where, for me, and not digging into this, it conveniently fills the gaps of the technology that would have been used as we see it in our brains to build the pyramids and everything else around the world at that same time, because you have the pyramids in Egypt, but you also have the pyramids in Central America, in Peru, and all of those different places that are basically the same things.
Right.
You have those in different places in the world.
Yep.
Under construction in roughly the same time periods and things like that, and even sooner and later. And that kind of conveniently fills those gaps of, hey, they had technology like ours to build these things. It wasn't aliens. It wasn't anything like that. But we've regressed so much as a whole, as a species, I should say, that we've just erased it from time because somebody was embarrassed that we have regressed that much. And, people blame the Renaissance and the Dark Ages because of the Christian repression of science.
So kind of going like into a little bit deeper in that one is the idea for those of us that believe in God that at some point in time we as humans advanced to a point technologically that we became a threat to ourselves. Mm-hmm. The Tower of Babel kind of thing.
Right.
Like we're trying to reach God by building this tower, which is comical, but we saw what happened there. Like God stepped in, confused their languages, scattered the people across the earth, right? If he did it once,
he could in the flood.
He could do it again,
and everything like that.
And and so we kind of think like, for me, I've always kind of thought like, okay, what if back in the day, because like the pyramids alone are enough to kind of go, gosh,
there had to be something else.
They were advanced to a point,
right?
That we kind of it's astounding. And you kind of got to think like, okay, was there a point in time where we were scratching the surface on something,
right?
Through our technological advances, that God went, all right, ease off, bud. Like let's hit the reset button a little bit, and just kind of wiped at least the memory of that technology and those people out of human history, so that we wouldn't try to go that direction again. Maybe we've got that. Oh, well, maybe we're approaching the end times now. We don't have to worry about it in that sense, but
hopefully.
But it's like maybe that needs to happen as far as the nuclear stuff and everything that we're dealing with now.
And it's one of those things too, where I think as a advanced quote unquote society that the world is in a state of right now.
Yeah,
I think we forget how simple things can be.
Yeah,
and I think that's where a lot of the things get lost in ancient civilizations, is that they are using techniques that everything that we do is based off of.
Yeah.
But we also forget how simple machines work. I mean, they're simple for a reason.
Yeah.
Every time that we go to like COSI or a science museum and they have the pulleys, it's like, oh, if I put 5 pulleys on this thing, I can lift 100 pounds easily by myself.
Right.
And it's one of those things like, oh, you put 5 tons and X amount of pulleys in a system, 10 people
Not
can
so
lift
bad.
it. Yeah. It's one of those things where I think our brains overthink a lot of things.
Absolutely.
And we interpret things that we shouldn't be, that we go too far
got
down.
no business dealing with.
Yeah, exactly. So,
sure.
all right. Well, that was fun.
was good. That's good stuff.
If any of these interest you, I think this is kind of a plea from both Josh and I to let us research these.
Yeah,
go down these rabbit holes.
I'm 100% willing. Like,
and
we
it's
should
one of
discuss some of these further for sure.
We've talked at nauseum about we don't want to pigeonhole us.
Right. We don't want to be conspiracy theory guys, and we're not. But
if you want us to talk about these things,
we don't mind talking about them.
We'll talk
sure.
about them
Yeah.
because we can find some funny stuff out of anything we talk about. So,
which is a great way for us to transition right into. Go ahead and leave us comments.
Exactly.
Interact with our social media posts because, like Josh. Even as we're speaking now, we had one that went out today that was about like, hey, give us your ideas of what you want to talk about.
We already had a comment on. So
hey, cool, good.
It's one that was on this list that I didn't bring up.
Nice,
so.
Awesome. So go let us know what you want us to talk about, what you want us to think about, and maybe plan on in the future and stuff. We would love to hear from you guys. You can interact with all of our social media things by liking and following and giving us all the answers back to the questions that we asked and stuff. You can also take the time to go and give us reviews on our podcast. We would love to have those come in from you. And we've got
our link tree. And like we talked in the last episode, by now we should have our stickers and everything.
Yeah.
If you want some and we still have some, let us know. And we'll give you out, even if it's just to pass out to your friends. Stick on your laptop. I know I have a ton of stickers on my laptop. And
put them on your laptops, your water bottles, back of your car if you're willing to advertise for us in public.
Exactly.
Like that,
or if you have any ideas for anything future, let us know.
That'd be great. Otherwise, we will see you guys in the next episode. We love you.
Bye. Celebrities are clones.
So I can shoot.
I think if we just maybe limit it to like a segment a month.
Yeah.
Like the cryptids, because
we say that, and then it'll become it's going to be Cryptid of the Month,
Conspiracy
Theory, Comics. That's what we do every month.